in now to your two dads show. Ooh, JJ and Deacon, they're the ones in the know. Subscribe quick, the Squid Monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. Oh yeah.
Oh, NOEM She Didn't. Governor Shoots Career and her dog. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm JJ, that's Deacon, and we are your two dads. We meet Monday through Friday here on youtube.com/ to talk about the news and other stuff and drink coffee. So good morning.
Yep.
If you
and we're no different
here,
than
please hang out.
Go ahead. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I was going to
say,
say, and we're no different than anyone else. We try to hook you in with a title that does not mean what it means.
Doesn't mean what it means.
Welcome. We got you hooked now. Come and listen to the rest of the story.
We just need you to listen. If you just hang out for 4 or 5 minutes, I promise you that at the end of the hour,
JJ and I disagree on. I didn't know he was making this the top story. Yeah, probably. I'm sure we disagree on this.
So? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where you stand.
I honestly, I saw this headline like 2 days ago, and I was like, "Oh, she killed her dog." Too. I don't care.
No, see, you're using that sentence like every other freaking media person uses the sentence that we bitch about every day on here. Oh, she killed her dog. That is a blanket statement that does not describe anything that really happened. You need to look at what really went on.
I'm not putting judgment into it. I've had to put the dog down before. I've had to put multiple dogs down before.
I've had to.
Sometimes you got it.
I've had to do some things that I wish I wouldn't have had to do.
We've lost all sympathy with the audience immediately.
I don't care. Life is life, and you can't walk around with your damn feelings on your shirt sleeves all the time. Sometimes shit happens, and you got to roll with it. So let's talk about this story, and let's talk about the misleading headline, what they're trying to mislead you for, and weaponize your emotions and feelings for political gain is exactly what they're doing here. So then we're going to get into what really goes on and what she meant.
So there's multiple layers going on here, right? There is the facts of the story, and then there is the emotional rhetoric, which is how you make people feel about the story.
Right.
And then there's the real consequences, which are, even Governor NOEM. Well, let's talk about it, and then I'll give you kind of some of my thoughts about it, I guess. Okay. So politicians, so Deacon picked this story up from the Associated Press, which, as we all know, is probably one of the standards of news media and information.
I like to go to the Associated Press mainly because when I started radio 30 years ago, that was where we went to get most of our news. That's where 99.99% of all media outlets get their news, change a few words and regurgitate it back to you. That's why it's all crap. So I still go there every day, and I read through AP News stuff that I can pick and choose and see what words and how they've worded this. It's just, I go there every day. I have for 30 years, that and the Drudge Report, but I stopped going to the Drudge Report when that started getting a little too gay about 10 years ago. It was like, why do I have 6 gay, just stories about gay stuff? I want freaking news. I want it. Matt Drudge is gay, and then he kept it for a long time. And then when he came out that he was gay, you started seeing more. And I don't have a problem with gay news. I went to the Drudge Report for news, not gay news.
Right.
If I wanted to go to a gay news site, I go to a gay news site. There's those out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, you got that tab on your computer. Just go to all the gay sites. I know.
It used to be down the middle, but now it used to be down the middle 30 years ago, 25 years ago when it first came out. But it's so left now that
I haven't been to Drudge Report since probably November of 2020. Because
it's been a long time.
He definitely lined up anti-Trump, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. All right, so anyway, here we go. Let's do this. Let's talk about this. Politicians and dog experts vilify South Dakota governor after she writes about killing her dog. Okay. Hey, folks, you can't judge her. You got to keep an open mind. Let's find out what the story is really about. And now here's some meta textual context. This woman's on the short list for VP for Donald Trump. This woman, well, hold on. Now, South Dakota, some of y'all that are mad at her can't find South Dakota on the map.
No kidding. Thank you. Most of you people that are mad at her, you don't know where South Dakota is on a map.
Right. Okay. So
you put a blank US states thing up here, and I'll name every one of them for you.
Yeah.
And if I get one wrong, I'll do something for the listeners, and we'll do something.
We have no budget. What are you talking about?
I learned those in third grade. I've never forgot the states, man.
Politicians and dog experts are criticizing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem after she wrote in a new book about killing a rambunctious puppy. The story and the vilification she received on social media has some wondering whether she's still a viable potential running mate for the presumptive Republican candidate, presidential candidate Donald Trump. Experts who work with hunting dogs like Noem said she should have trained, not killed the pup, or found other options if the dog was out of control.
Okay.
No, hold on. There's only three paragraphs here. Noem has tried to reframe the story from 2 decades ago as an example of her willingness to make tough decisions. She wrote on social media that the 14-month-old wire-haired pointer named Cricket had shown aggressive behavior by biting. As I explained in the book, it wasn't easy, but often the easy way isn't the right way. And still Democrats and even some conservatives have been critical. The story is not landing. It's not a facet of rural life or ranching to shoot dogs, said nobody who cares about anybody that person says.
So it says nobody who's ever lived on a ranch or a farm before. Here's the bottom line. Yeah. Not one of these people have ever had to grow up living on a farm. And what she was doing was talking about, first of all, you live on a farm. Okay. This is not a dog farm. This is a farm where you take care of animals, and the dogs are supposed to be trained. And the dogs know for whatever they do, if you go to a farm, you will see Great Pyrenees or something like that, and they are protectors. They protect everything. They look after everything. That's why they are man's best friend. That's why they are on the farm. And if you have an aggressive dog that's going around biting your goats and killing your chickens and stuff, what are you going to do? Most of the time, 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years ago, still today, they will take the dog out and they'll shoot it. I'm sorry. I have never done that personally. I don't want to ever do that personally, but I don't live on a freaking farm. You know, I have friends that do live on farms. I know people that have done that. I hate it, but could she have went and found, could that family have went out and tried to find some other place to take it? Sure. Maybe. Let me take this aggressive dog to the dog shelter. I wonder what's going to happen there. Nobody's going to adopt the dog that bites, and it's going to get put down. That's completely fine that the dog shelters kill dogs every day. I wanted to volunteer years ago. Hang on, run on Ruds here, and I'll stop after this. I wanted to volunteer at the dog shelter about 20 years ago. And I went up there and I talked to them, and I wanted to volunteer my time because I'm an empath. I love animals. I love them. They give me emotion. This is a Rudd rant. I can feel emotions, and I wanted to. I love those. I love animals. And they said, well, I was like 20, 25 years ago or something, and I was a lot bigger. And they were like, well, you're a big guy. We need you to help get the dogs for euthanasia, euthanize the dogs and stuff. And I'm like, you want me to kill the dogs? And they were like, no, we want you to take the bodies and put them in the incinerator and stuff like that. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. No, thank you. So they do this every single day. She lives on a farm. Do you think that, hey, we've got a dog, we don't want it because it bites everybody?
Well, okay, so here's some extra context. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But, the second thing I thought of when I saw this, first thing I thought was like, I kind of don't care. I know that as a pet owner, sometimes you have, you got to be responsible, and you got to. I'm sorry, I got a dog that nearly killed another dog. That dog had to go down. I'm sorry, there was nothing I could do about that. That had to go. So, but as a parent, here's the second thing I thought about when I heard this story. I wonder if Kristi Noem has kids. And this story is from 20 years ago. I wonder how old her kids were 20 years ago. Well, Kristi Noem has a kid born in 1994. So in 2004, that kid would have been 10. And she has one born in 1997. So that one would have been 7. And she has a kid born in 2002. That kid would have been 2. You going to keep a biting dog around your baby children? You're going to throw it outside where it could get it could just starve and go and get eaten by a cougar?
You can train it. Who do you have an extra $500 to spend on a dog trainer? I love my dogs, man, and I will get them medical attention and get them food and stuff like that. But if I don't have the time to train it, you don't need a damn dog.
Crazy.
This is just a silly story that what you said, I didn't know. And you said there at the very beginning, I didn't know. And that is the key. I think that's the key to this, that they don't want you to know that you said she's on a short list for the VP. They don't want to put that out there because then that shows exactly what this smoke screen is all about. They have no problem with dogs and cats being killed all over the freaking country every day right now as we speak. But you're going to get mad because she was possibly protecting her kid and her farm.
Top to bottom, this is a political hit job to prevent a popular governor from South Dakota from being basically aligned with the Trump ticket or put on the Trump ticket. And then you have Donald Trump, who's already super popular. And you have a vice president who's a female, female vice president, a capable governor, and popular in her state. So that's what they don't want. They would rather have somebody that they could vilify and, say, hey, Trump picked out.
She's female. She's good looking. People she's perfect.
Yeah. Well, she's a good option. And they're trying, this is, ladies and gentlemen, you're actively witnessing a political hit job. That's all this is. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't live in it. If you never lived anywhere where there wasn't a bus stop, you should just take your opinion and shut your face.
I have my opinions on city and city life and stuff like that, but that is what they are. They are my opinions, and I am never going to try to tell my friend Solid that lives in New York City how to live, because his life is completely different than my life here in the country. And so I might not agree with it, and I sure as hell don't want to live in New York City, but he does. He is from South Texas. When I met him, he lived in South Texas. And I remember him saying he was going to move to New York City. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. And he was the one that I didn't get to see when me and you went to New York City because we couldn't get our schedule. And we were both so upset we didn't get to see each other. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to live that way. So I don't judge those people in that city. Yes, I have an opinion, and we talk about that crap all the time, but you're exactly right. These people that have never lived on a farm, don't assume that these farm people make easy choices, because farm people have to make hard choices all the time. What if you've got to work in the morning, you're asleep, and 3:00 in the morning, you've got to get up in the freaking 40-degree, 20-degree weather. It's snowing outside because your goat has had a baby in the back field, and that baby goat is going to freeze to death if you don't get your ass up at 3 a.m. and go and drag. There's hard things that you've got to do on a farm. That was just one example because that happened here not too long ago.
So we actually have I was looking around like, how do I get out of this to the next kind of like, how do we segue?
Boom,
right.
Stop it.
And I remember there's a story that we've been covering that's kind of related to ranching and farming. And there was not a verdict. I don't know what you call it. The Arizona rancher who was on trial for shooting at and killing an illegal immigrant on his ranch in Arizona.
Yeah.
His trial was declared a mistrial by the judge.
Yeah.
There were, I think this was yesterday or the day before. 11 of the 12 jurors voted not guilty. One leftist on the jury would not agree with the unanimous vote. One. And because of that, because they were unable to acquit him of the charges or convict him of the charges, there was a mistrial, and the judge declared a mistrial, which means that the state has the opportunity to file the charges again, or they can run the trial again. The state has declined to file charges against Arizona rancher James Kelly. So
Wow.
Arizona rancher declares nightmare over after migrant case dropped. Now, for those of you that don't remember exactly, the dude's like 75 years old, and he has an equally like a wife, same age, 75, almost 80 years old. Just the two of them, 100 miles from not 100 miles, a long way from everywhere, right?
Like 50 miles from his nearest neighbor or something.
Yeah,
it was a long way.
I don't know how, but he has a 170-acre cattle ranch in Nogales, Arizona, which is near the border of Mexico. And one night there was like 8, 9, 10 guys 100 yards away. 100 yards away. That's a football field. Okay, that's people can cross that in 30 seconds, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's people on your ranch at night. Shouldn't be nobody near you. It shouldn't be anybody but like animals. As far as you can hear, there's guys out there. And so he fired warning shots, and unfortunately somebody was killed. And, he probably,
we don't know about any of the situation from the point they won't say anything from that situation. April, yeah, it is.
So anyway, I said his name was James Kelly. I think his name, no, George Allen Kelly. Okay, George Allen Kelly. Anyway, he's not going to be filed. Charges will not be filed against him again. So, for the moment, anyway, that case is closed. So
nice.
Yeah, he got and it is a little concerning though that the jury couldn't arrive at a verdict because you have one political agitator on the jury, and that's not something that's going to stop. We're going to keep having activists get onto juries. I'm sure that there are activists on Trump's juries right now, just dying to have an opportunity to convict him or throw a wrench in the works. You know what I mean? Okay. I just wanted to cover that. All right. What do you want to talk about next? We got wacky stuff this morning.
We didn't have, let's see. What was my other one? Oh yeah. This was good. I saw this one on AP News as well. And I started chuckling silently to myself when I read that protesters take over Columbia University's Hamilton Hall. And oh, wait a minute. No, what was this? No, is this the wrong story that I brought up? These protesters are very, very worried that you're not going to take amnesty on them, and that something like this is probably going to follow them around for the rest of their lives.
Yes, it will.
And they're really worried about if this is going to let me see. That's not the right story that I saw that come up on the headline. Let's see. Yeah, protesting college student want amnesty. Will arrest suspensions follow them for years? Yeah, that's what this is, the same story they've linked. They've got a gotcha headline there for that story. But I think this is when I read that, I was like, yeah, it should. It should. Are the J6 people, is that prison sentence going to follow them around for years? Huh? Is that going to disrupt their lives for years? Is the people that disagreed with taking the vaccine, is that shit going to follow them around for years? Are the people that took the vaccine and are now injured and have all these weird shit, is that going to follow them around for years? There are consequences to your actions. That is a fundamental law of our knowledge of physics. Okay? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And this is physics in your life. Yes, you should have repercussions for acting like a little asshole.
What about the colleges? What about the colleges that are allowing this to happen?
Absolutely. I think these colleges are going to see repercussions come July and August of this year next year and the following years if we don't blow ourselves up, because there's too many of us that are not wanting to send our kids to college. I don't want my child to be in debt for 20 years, and I sure as shit don't want to pay for my child to go to an overpriced college where they're teaching her some bullshit that I don't even freaking agree with, trying to brainwash her. No, thank you. She can get a good job. She can pay for her whole life without going to college. You can have a wonderful, fulfilled, happy life without ever setting foot on a college campus.
I think,
and there's more of us that agree with that now. Just wait. I think their numbers are going to drop.
I honestly think the problem with colleges is that the government is in the funding college business. I think so. Because if government was not in the subsidizing government business, these colleges, they'd have to be leaner. They'd have to provide a better good.
Well, see, and that's
but
why.
How do we? I mean, it's not bad for it's good for America to have an educated workforce, right?
Yeah,
but how do we get that without the government paying for it? Because the government paying for it is what
controls things, and it controls things. And that is my excuse on when I pull up some crap in my conspiracies theories. It's one guy saying that maybe this happened this way, and you or somebody says, well, thousands of scientists say this. What we're not putting in the equation is that those 1,000 scientists that say that all got funding to continue to live, to buy their cars, to eat, to pay for their house, and to do their research. They got funding from the government. So if the government is giving JJW $100,000 to do this experiment to prove this, and you're like, oh my God, look what this proved. And they're like, we don't want you to release that. That wasn't your findings. But you're like, that was my findings. And you're like, well,
we're going to get funding for your next grant.
You want to get funding for your next grant. You might lose that paper. Every damn one of them do that. And then you have people like Graham Hancock that's using technology and just a mind to say, what if this is like this? And everybody goes after it. Well, all of those people are funded by the government, by some government grant. And you want to listen to them when we sit here and preach, don't trust the government, but trust the scientists that's paid for by the government, trust the media that's paid for by the government, trust the pharmaceutical company that's paid for by the government.
Yeah. Look, money is a soft power control mechanism. If you want to get liberty and freedom and honesty and truth and anything like that back in here, you got to get money. It's not that you got to get money out of politics. You got to get government out of funding everything. Because the government gets captured by bureaucrats and they decide where the money goes. And that steers everything else. So Christopher Rufo on Twitter, he posted this yesterday. I just want to, it's 3 tweets. Let me run this down real quick here for you folks. Look at this. The key to the lock in the circle of connotations around the Ivy League. They stacked faculties with decolonization scholars, recruited left-wing student activists, and hired sympathetic administrators. We need to drive internal conflicts and connect all of the dots in public. The second step is to remind voters that they are subsidizing these ideologies and, more importantly, these people through federal support, student loans, and Biden's debt payoff scheme. Don't call it debt forgiveness. Call to action should be defund the Ivy League. It is important to remember that we should not throw Ivy League administrators a lifeline. The right should be careful not to overreact. The best approach is to remain quiet and let the left tear itself apart. The longer the encampments stay, the more the left will fracture. So I don't want to clear those tents out. I mean, I honestly don't care what happens at Harvard or anywhere or Columbia or anywhere else. And
the only reason I care what happens at MIT and Harvard and some of those Ivy League schools is because of the amount of brainwashing that they do and they have already done on America to make us think that if you go to Harvard, you're better than us. If you go to MIT, you're better. You're on a different level. No, you're not. You are. It might not be a higher level. It actually might be a lower level. Just depends on what level you look at.
I mean, look, it's just the money. And apparently, probably skin color. to get into the colleges, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
'Cause
I'm not
they're
getting
like,
into Harvard.
if you're Asian, it's actually a little harder to get into Harvard because they're like, they suppress the Asian
If I honestly, when it
demographics.
was trying to get into Harvard and I was really trying to get into, I seriously would I would do a DNA test and see how much, because I've got Cherokee and very close on both sides of my family. I would see how much Indian.
That's
I'd
just
see how
you
much
trying
Native
to
I have in my
use
blood.
the DEI staircase instead of
I got more Cherokee than
instead of
Elizabeth
Mary.
Warren's got, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I'm a white Cherokee. XLR. Hey, I got one for you, JJ. This one made me
Sure.
smile because I thought, my friend JJ, this will make him laugh.
Oh.
A emergency. There it is. The emergency slide that fell off of a Delta flight that departed from JFK Airport Friday was found 2 days later.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. It washed up on the beachside house of the lawyer whose firm happens to be suing Boeing over safety issues. This guy Jake.
That's so convenient, to be honest.
This guy Jake just got a raise and maybe a new partner. The New York attorney whose firm filed a lawsuit against Boeing following the Alaska Airlines door blowout in January told the Post he got a surprise on Sunday around noon when he looked out the window of his oceanfront home in Belle Harbor, Queens. There, trapped on the rocks within feet of his front yard, in a freak coincidence, was the emergency slide that fell off the Boeing 767 jetliner. There it is.
That's nuts. That's so funny. I mean, evidence, they dropped off evidence at his house.
While officials had been searching for the missing slide in Jamaican Bay since Friday afternoon, it turns out the slide was more far-flung than they expected. His home faces the Atlantic Ocean. Belle Harbor is located 6 miles southeast of JFK. The emergency slide was found right off, blah, blah, blah. You don't know.
We've obviously been covering this plane stuff because planes keep falling apart in the sky. But a lot of it's not like it's Boeing necessarily that's doing this stuff. It's the companies that own the planes afterwards that are doing maintenance on these planes, and they're not doing a good job. Although there is the story out of, I think it's the South Carolina plant, where the people that work at Boeing were asked, would you fly on a Boeing plane? And they were like, no.
Did we fly to JFK or LaGuardia? I don't remember I remember it was like 3 a.m. and I'm sitting in there by myself.
I don't know.
Me and the freaking guy sweeping the floor.
I feel like I've definitely been through JFK Airport, so I think it's that one.
JFK. So there you go. I thought you would laugh at that story.
That's pretty good. Deke, we have a lot of energy issues in the United States of America, especially with the advent of electric vehicles everywhere and no gas cars. And Joe Biden wants to turn off coal power plants. Just turn those off. We can't.
Did you see the pictures that I posted of the coal that Joey sent me?
Oh, I did see that. You can bring those
pictures
up
of.
So, the Biden administration wants to get rid of fossil fuels. Just get rid of them. Can't have them. They're bad. They're bad. It's bad to have very convenient energy like that right there.
That's a train car, by the way, for size comparison.
So that's probably like 100 feet high of just coal ready to go, right?
They constantly move it.
Oh, yeah.
It's constantly being moved. It comes in on the trains. It gets on this. It comes in on the trains. They offload it onto this pile. They have dozers and stuff that push this thing all the way up, that drive up that pile and push and whatnot. This is what he was telling me. One of those guys told him. I've never seen all this happen. Right on the other side of this coal is the Cumberland River, Tennessee River, the Tennessee River. So the Tennessee, I think it's the Tennessee River. And that coal is put onto they've got all these machines and stuff, and they put straight onto the barges. All right. So, and he was telling me how much one of those barges worth of coal is. And those barges, when you see a barge, people say, "Oh, that's a barge." No, that is the engine pushing barges, plural.
They make them like a train of barges.
Yeah, they sit beside each other, and it's pushing. So it's a barge, but it's pushing barges. So that makes a difference, because when they fill up the barge, each one of those barges gets filled up. And he was telling me that guy said every one of them had like $2 million worth of coal.
Wow.
1.2. It was a huge number that every single one of those is worth.
Man.
So there's the question when we talked about this last week. Joe Biden wants to go through all this crap and whatnot. And here's my question. Do you think they're going to just let the Appalachian Mountain Range just sit there and not do anything with this energy that's sitting there in the ground? You're an idiot if you think they're just going to, just leave it alone.
If we make it illegal, if we make it illegal, those Appalachian people, they'll just go away.
They will.
They'll just disappear.
Damn hillbillies.
Okay, so no, we obviously going to need some power. We're going to need some power for the 21st century, Deacon. And you know what? The best thing we could do probably be, and you know what? I'm including the modern way of looking at the world in this. We need some diverse hires, and we need to turn on some old nuclear factories. That's what we should do. Some old nuclear not been used for years. Let's turn them on and let's staff them equitably. Let's have some equitable. No. Listen, you got to have representation in your power generation. So a lot of shuttered nuclear power plants could be turned back on. Federal energy official says turned back on. Old nuclear power plants that have been turned off for some reason or another, let's turn them back on and let's do some diversity hires. So there are a couple of nuclear power plants that we probably should and can turn back on, said Higar Shah, director of U.S. Energy Department's Loan Programs Office, in a Bloomington interview. A lot of other players that have nuclear power plant that a lot of the other players that have a nuclear power plant that is recently shut down could be turned back on and gaining confidence to try it. What do you think, Deke? If we got some old nuclear power plants we just have laying around, we should just turn those things back on. What could go wrong?
Yeah, no. I can't see anything to go wrong.
I wonder where those are at.
We had a nuclear plant here in my neck of the woods for a long time. They shut it down. You can get tours of it now if you're sometimes. But it's called the Paducah Gaseous Diffusion Plant. And they used to enrich uranium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
Listen, I'm all for nuclear power. And I think that we should build some new and very safe nuclear power plants. I'm not sure that we should turn on some old ones that maybe weren't so safe, that were designed with a slide rule. I don't think that's a great idea.
You had this picture on that Twitter thing that you brought up. I want us to look at I'm going to bring up the picture here so you can see. I wanted to show you because I was looking at that picture this morning. This right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the new U.S. active, though the red are active, the gray are scheduled to be decommissioned, and the yellow ones are the ones that are possible future plants. So there's 5 of them there. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 that are scheduled to be decommissioned. So I'm right in here. Right in here. You're over here.
Yeah, we got 2, I guess.
We need to move here. The center of Wyoming. The center of Wyoming here looks great. I was going to say right here at the end of Colorado, but we're in Colorado, so we just move up to Wyoming. And for you people that were wondering about the first of the show, that's
South Dakota, right there.
That's South Dakota.
Listen, I think we need more nuclear power plants. That's all.
Okay, I think you're dumb.
Turning on old rusty ones though, maybe no.
That's cool. No. I'm okay with that. You got one more that I don't know what this is, but it said you typed to me, dude, did you see the cringe Drew Barrymore Kamala Harris clip?
Oh my God.
That's what it says. Dude, did you see the cringe Drew Barrymore Kamala Harris clip? And I didn't because I used to love Drew Barrymore. Well, that was my celebrity crush, Drew Barrymore. Yeah. But Drew Barrymore is one of those that's like
she's gone crazy, dude.
She's gone maybe she's
nuts.
Always been
crazy.
She
probably has always
look
been.
At what she grew up in. She grew up in Satanist Hollywood since she was a kid, so I'm sure she's gone through crap.
She's This is
You
what
can't
happens when you're a
fault
child
her
actor.
for being crazy because she was a child actor.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Kamala Harris. Oh my God, Drew Barrymore, you pandering.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's so sad. You are such a sad person. Pandering to the Joker like that.
God, that was cringe,
That
dude.
was so cringy.
Can I call you Mamala?
Kamala Harris.
Can I call you Mamala W?
Okay, so we did this. We did that story. We did that.
Ooh, I got one for you, JJ.
Oh yeah, yeah.
you drive-
I think I.
You drive on the roadways a lot, right? Like, how far is it to your work?
I have 45
it's-
miles each way. So,
Yeah.
I drive
So you're on
90
there a
miles a
lot.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
a lot.
90 miles a day, and you are probably not on back roads, right?
Nope, those highways, baby.
Yeah, that's highways.
maybe,
All
that's-
right. So
that's
JJ
weird I
lives
said
in
that.
Texas. He's got those big 98 lane highways. So, and I live in Kentucky, and my family, I have several people that were truck drivers. That's how they made their living. My dad hauls
Yeah.
gas today. In his retired years, he still hauls gas 2 days a week. And he's always said this to me, and I always thought this was fascinating. Wherever you are, look around your room and look at any object in your room. At one point, that was on a tractor trailer semi truck. Every single object, the paint on your walls, the drywall that makes your walls, everything was on a semi tractor trailer at one point. Okay. 80,000 pounds of materials that are going down the road at 65 to 85 miles per hour, correct?
Yep.
At any one
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Well, now they're going to be driverless. So how do you feel about 80,000 pounds of steel traveling down the road at 65 miles an hour while you're on the road going to work, and it does not have a driver?
I don't think that thing can cope
This
with
looks like your average
traffic
80,000
that I've got in Houston. I don't think it can. The first thing I thought, because I saw this story yesterday, Breitbart News posted it on Twitter. I saw it yesterday. The first thing I thought was that, like, the very first thought I had was, oh my God, if you're not writing a script right now for a heist movie where people rob AI drone trucks, you are
maximum overdrive. This is maximum overdrive. Do you remember that movie in the 80s with the Green Goblin pickup truck?
Oh, really?
That was maximum overdrive. It was about the possessed semi truck that drove down the road trying to kill everyone. There was nobody inside.
Maximum Overdrive.
Wasn't that the name of it?
That is a film from 1986.
Yeah, it's got the Green Goblin on the front of the damn truck. It was like a toy truck. It was toy something. I can't remember what was in the name of it.
Yeah, it does. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, pull up the picture so people will remember.
All right, let me. I got a trailer here, but look at this.
Yeah, it had Emilio Estevez in it, didn't it? Wasn't Emilio Estevez in that movie?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting the trailer. YouTube. Come on, YouTube.
I bet I hadn't seen that movie in 30 years. But that's a good one to remake now with AI. Instead of it being demon possessed.
Yeah, instead of a demon, you just
AI.
make it AI possessed. Oh my God, dude! Don't you love the 1980s special effects where they just drew lightning on shit?
That's great. Maybe it was a demon. I never remember what's going on around here. Hey, that was who's driving it?
I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us!
That's the voice of Lisa Simpson.
What is going on? I don't know!
Smith.
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
Here it is.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. Dude.
Happy Toys. Yeah.
Here comes
some
another load of joy.
There's some of those that drive around the country that they've have replicas of those that I've seen people.
You've seen things like this?
Yeah, yeah. I just seen a video not too long ago of the lady standing there, and she was like, "Here it comes," and she was filming, and it was an exact replica of that truck that drove down the road. Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, that girl in there that was screaming, that young girl that was screaming right there, her name is Yeardley Smith. She is the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, she's a voice actor. So AI trucks, they're being tested right now. The only thing that I was concerned about, driving the straight line. Yeah, okay. Have you ever pulled a trailer? Have you ever tried to back a trailer?
When I was in the Army.
Yeah.
When I was in the Army, I had to do that stuff.
Yeah. So you know how hard it is to try to back a trailer into a space. You know, it takes talent. It takes learning. My dad for years has been like, "Bub, why don't you drive a truck?" And I always told him, I would not be able to get that thing into the places that you squeeze that truck into. You're a better driver than I am.
Okay, that's true, but you have to do it from the cab. You have to do it from the cab, right?
Yeah, and
the AI can do it from the rear of the truck.
I guess that's true.
You put a couple cameras on there, and you just connect it all to you. You're making a robot truck. When you just add a couple of camera sensors on the trailer bed, and then bloop, you got the AI. The AI truck is now driving itself, from every angle.
I didn't think about that, but you're exactly right. Yeah.
No, we just look. We can have autonomous trucks. We just need to have somebody in there we can sue when it kills people. That's all. Let the truck drive. You can just ride. In fact, that might be a future career for some of these people at Harvard and Columbia right now that are not going to get real jobs because they're terrorists. You guys can ride in robot trucks and then get sued if it happens to run over a kid.
Yeah, that's what you can do. All right, you have one more story here, and then I want to do some music.
What did I have?
You had this wonderful Disney story that I saw video yesterday. I told my wife
about that this morning.
Yeah. Do you know, does this say the story behind it about how the family had paid $300? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walt Disney World in Florida appears to have cast a man to play the evil queen in Snow White in drag in its Wilderness Lodge resort. So here's look at this here. A family has reached out to the.
You are my favorite evil queen.
Hang on, I didn't mean for that to go up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll play it in just a second.
Yeah, I didn't mean.
So there's evil queen. A family paid $300. I've never been to Disney World, and I'm not taking my kids. Okay.
No.
And sometimes these trips can cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. Yeah. A family paid $300 extra to have a character meet and greet dinner at Walt Disney World. So. They're like, the whole thing is you like to take the family and, you get to see, the Princess Snow White or whoever, whatever the little princesses are. Yeah. You get to see actors dressed as characters, and then your kids get to have like a fun little time. Right. So they paid $300 for an meet and greet dinner at Walt Disney World, only to discover the evil queen is a dude. Go ahead and play the sound. Rewind it. Play the sound.
Okay.
You are my favorite evil queen. Oh my God.
I'm also my favorite. We have so much fun.
Yeah. So this isn't the first time that we've seen men playing women at Disney. There's also the guy he's at one of the stores. I don't think they have that in the story here. When I told my wife about this kind of thing a couple weeks ago, she was like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, no. If we honestly took our kids to Disney World, there's a greater than 0% chance that the kids would see a man dressed as a princess at a gift shop or a store or whatever." And I'm just like, it's just another reason.
Disneyland in Anaheim featured a male employee dressed in drag and greeted children at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where young girls can receive makeovers as their favorite Disney princesses. The Walt Disney Company has been aggressively pushing gender nonconformity in its entertainment aimed at children. If you are a parent out there, listen to what I'm fixing to read to you. Okay. Disney has created multiple transgender characters for its children's shows and even hosted a Pride-themed musical starring drag queen Nina West. The company has also been working to make its parks more gender neutral in recent years. Look at this one. This is one of those sly brainwashing things that you don't see unless it's pointed out to you or you notice it like me. One of the biggest changes was the elimination of Disney's iconic greeting. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now Disney parks address guests as dreamers of all ages. A small change that you would never notice if you didn't open your freaking mind.
Man,
and look.
Woke folk are psychopaths, dude.
The parks
crazy.
Also, wait a minute. I wanted to this last line I would like to read to all of you parents out there that are thinking of spending all this money on Disney. This last sentence, okay? Parks also feature gender neutral restrooms. There you go. Have fun at Disney World.
There's a lot of places that I've seen that men's restrooms and women's restrooms are just, that's gone, and now it's just singletons. So instead of dealing with men and women having men's rooms and women's rooms, a lot of places, restaurants especially, are like, look, we just don't even deal with it. So every restroom will be a onesie. It doesn't matter if there was originally 2 stalls and a urinal or whatever. It doesn't matter which is it. How many people could go in there before? Yeah,
take
so now
off man and woman and just put restroom.
So now to go to the bathroom, you will wait in line.
You got to wait in line.
Sure.
and then your male ass that thinks you're a woman, you get to go in there and clean up all the dribble that's everywhere that the males do, because you've been in men's bathrooms and you know how gross they are. All right, I got one for you. Music story. Dave, I think it was Dave, that put this in the chat in our news, and it's a New York Post story. But this musician is devastated. Oh, I don't want to allow ads on your stupid website because we hate your website. It breaks our shit. This musician was devastated after this guitar she played with Harry Styles is destroyed while flying Delta. Delta Airlines has been accused of purposefully smashing a musician's Martin acoustic guitar. Those are not cheap. After she found the instrument's splintered remains in its hard case following the flight. Look at this. Look at this freaking guitar.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
In this 20 years old guitar, it was a 20-year-old guitar. You can already tell that it had some damage there on it. Right there.
She had electrical taped a photo on it of some kind.
Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, that's what that is. She put that photo on there, but she had just toured with Harry Styles with this guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you go. Thank you, Delta. That is just those guys just picking up and throwing shit on top of that. That's a hard guitar case. Something heavy had to have landed on that to bust that like that, man. Something heavy.
I mean,
if you've never seen a hard guitar case,
she's lucky the door didn't fall off and it didn't get lost in the Atlantic, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know.
Okay. We missed music yesterday, so I'm doing the song of the days yesterday as the song today. All right. I might add another song. But this week, for our song of the day, it's over there above JJ's head on our Discord server. Go to Deke's playlist, and you'll see our songs with weird backstories. All right, and the song today and yesterday is one that you have probably heard many, many times. "The Way" by Fastball. Remember that song from the 2000s, JJ?
Oh yeah.
It's always summer, will never get cold. So this song was actually written about an elderly Texas couple who disappeared from their home. All right. This song is about this and the investigation that followed. The couple completely disappeared from their home. They had medical issues that made them confused. They ended up being found. Their bodies ended up being found 500 miles away at the bottom of a cliff in Arkansas about a few weeks after they went missing. Now, the lead singer Tony Scalazzo of Fast Play read this article and was fascinated with this article when they were just an up and coming band, a no-name band that nobody had ever heard of. So he was just, for some reason, fascinated with this story. He wrote a song about that story. And he says now that because of that, he said, I enjoy singing it, and I'll never forget the fact without that one song, Fastball would just been one of those bands I was in for a few years. He said, because of fame and success, I got to be an influence for a few folks out there, and I'm grateful for that one song.
So it's play a little bit of it because I like this song, but
yeah,
it's crazy to me. You told me this story, and I was like, that's nuts because like this is such a poppy song, you know, and for the time, I think. Poppy song, and it's dark. It's like the origins of it are so dark.
Where were they going without even knowing the way?
Yeah,
anyone can see the road up ahead is paved in gold.
I don't know what is going on.
One of these stories, dude, you said that about pop songs having dark meaning. That's really funny that you say that. You know, Outkast's "Hey Ya," hey ya. Just go and read the lyrics. Don't read it and sing it. Just read the lyrics. That's the most depressing crap, but he sung it in a freaking poppy and everybody sings it. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You know, we sing that to our children as a lullaby. Do you know that's the second verse of that song? That's not the first verse of You Are My Sunshine. Go listen to that song and you'll want to stop. You want to like go get some Kleenex and contemplate slitting your wrists. That's a very sad song. You Are My Sunshine. It's about the love of his life leaving him. We just sing the second verse and think, oh, it's a little lullaby. You Are My Sunshine. It's a depressing song. Billie Jean. Billie Jean's another one by Michael Jackson. Billie Jean. Michael Jackson got threatened and harassed by a woman in his early years that said that this was your kid. This is your child. He was scared so much he had nightmares about this woman. That's what the song Billie Jean is about. This crazy woman that said that he was her kid's father. I love crap like that. So there you go. There's your song of the day. Be sure and go and check it out. Come to the Discord server and talk to me about music. That's my favorite subject.
And since you held out this long in the show, please remember to like and subscribe.
All 0 of you.
Yeah, we had no numbers on there today. That doesn't mean it's true because we have people over on Rumble. They just
we got
Rumble
lots of people watching.
Chats. Yeah,
not from that one.
Deke. Let's see. I think I feel like I did this one recently. How about this? What happens when a race car driver eats too much? Do you have any idea?
He gets the runs?
No, he gets indigestion.
Oh, indigestion. Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
That's not good either.
I've got an equally corny one this morning. Why do witches wear name tags?
So you'll know his name?
So you can tell which witch is which.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, come on. That was funny.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was actually not. It was not.
Pay attention to the show.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Tune in now to your To That Show. JJ and Deacon, they're the ones that know. Subscribe quick, the squid monster's on the way. Conspire with us, tomorrow's news today.
JJ rules, Deacon rules.